Now, despite the fact that Tomorrowland is getting mixed reviews, I do have to say that not only did I think it was a lot of fun, but it's a film that really inspired me in more ways than one. Through, of course, our lead characters, Frank Walker and Casey, who meet due to a set of circumstances that leads them towards Tomorrowland. A futuristic world wrapped up in a great sense of intrigue in a film that is the ultimate family adventure. At its core, it's a film about something far greater, far more relevant to humanity, in fact, regarding where we are as a society today. The very nature of humanity seems to have taken a far more negative turn, something that seems to run parallel with the way films have changed nowadays, as almost subtly addressed by this movie. Because while it does make a strong statement about how humanity really needs to just get up, be more inspired, and lead itself in a more positive direction, at the same time it really does question what films have become today relative to the older days. While feeding off the nostalgia, it really does ask the question, can it just be fun? And it's that lost seed of inspiration and amazement in both human nature as well as films that seem to be addressed and pushed almost a bit too heavily at times by this film, but certainly comes to fruition as a beautiful idea that the film puts across. And in being ever so optimistic, it manages to blend a beautiful science fiction tale with a borderline political message, and how believers and dreamers attempt to create an ever so beautiful past in an ever so complicated world. And it's these complications that really add to the sense of mystery that the film possesses, creating incredible twists and turns in this film that make for a relentless and non-stop action-adventure film. Beautifully presented, of course, by director Brad Bird, who in one incredible tracking shot really opens this sense of wonder that Tomorrowland possesses. And in employing his unique vision to not just the action to create a great amount of intensity, but at the same time to create this ever so strange world, he really manages to convince you of something otherworldly by making it feel ever so real. Because it is a classic tale of the unlikely, more underdog characters that come together in circumstances that are ever so bizarre to really push forward a film that I believe does get overly bizarre at points, as it rides an ever so fine line between what is acceptable in this film that already exists in an incredibly strange world. However, the film does not forget to pack in the emotional aspects of each character, certainly not overstating each arc, but making each arc of each character relevant to the story of the film, having Casey and her interest in science and development, and definitely this more technological aspect of life that she really tries to exact out, and at the same time Frank Walker and his motivation and this incredibly strange friendship, for lack of a better word, that he possesses with the character Athena. And having these core motivations to drive this film while saying something a lot larger about humanity is certainly a hard task, but it's something that I believe was incredibly well balanced. And while Tomorrowland does push the boundaries to a certain degree that I can understand if others are not willing to accept, I believe it is at least a visual treat. But to me, it's a reincarnation of a more fun, family-friendly adventure film that of course explicitly states the sense of amazement it hopes to possess and certainly achieve. As I do believe it will be renowned as a classic in its own right, it does certainly inspire a great sense of light and hope, not just in humanity, but a great sense of hope for the future of film. I'm gonna give Tomorrowland a triple yes.